Hello, this is Deep Thoughts with Diga, and today I'm going to be deriving this, which is a little scary. It is all of the normal trig functions, and reciprocals, but the main six. We got the derivative of sine, of cosine, of tangent, of cosecant, of secant, cotangent of x. I'm going to do this entire thing with no cuts. I'm just going to go straight through and see how well or bad this goes. So to start with, I have to start in the middle, where I have secant and cotangent of x. All right, I'm just going to do my normal chain rule here, where I got the derivative of secant is tangent secant. The derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared. Okay, so right here, this one is going to become tangent of cotangent of x, secant of cotangent of x, times negative cosecant squared of x. And this is going to be a little bit of a mess right here, but I'll fix it later. Okay, so that's our first one. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to put cosecant with it. So we got cosecant is going to be, we're going to always, the easiest way to do this is to look at, we got our function we're starting with, and its derivative. And based on that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that derivative, I'm going to plug this inside of it. From there, I'm going to multiply by whatever is the derivative of the one before that was inside. So what this is going to look like is the derivative of the cosecant is negative cotangent cosecant. Oh, this is going to be difficult. So I'm just going to go right here, and we're going to go negative cotangent of secant of cotangent of x, tangent of cosecant right here, cosecant of secant of cotangent of x again, times this. And I'm going to say actually this is equal to a, times a is equal to b. Okay, this is the way I'm going to do this. So this will make it go a lot faster. Now I'm going to take this whole one right here. And trust me, this is going to work. Now the derivative of the tangent is secant squared. So now this one's going to look a lot nicer here. Yeah, I did that right. I was starting to have doubts for a second. Yeah, it's secant going to be secant squared of cosecant of secant of cotangent of x. Make these parentheses a little more parenthing. That's not a word, but that's fine. All right, times b, because we're going to multiply the derivative before that, is equal to c. Almost there, right? So now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to say we got the derivative of the cosine is negative sine, right? And I just plug this in. Negative sine of cosine of tangent of cosecant of secant of cotangent of x. All right. The hardest part is counting parentheses. Yep. Times c is going to equal d. Okay. And I'm going to make this I'm going to make a random line that has no meaning. No. This is going to go down there. Sorry about the squeaks. And now we're going to get the whole thing here. Okay. And then I'm going to write the whole thing down. So from here, we got the sine. The derivative of the sine function is just cosine. So now we're at cosine of cosine. Make that really big. Of tangent of cosecant of secant of cotangent of x. Bam, bam, bam. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Times what's left over? D. This whole thing is equal to this. Right? That's pretty nice. So now I'm just gonna put it all together. I'm going to write this entire thing down. All right, our first term. I'm gonna write this in a different marker. I'm gonna write this in the blue. All right, how far down do I have? I got there. All right, so I'm gonna have cosine of tangent of cosecant of secant of cotangent of x, and do parentheses. This is the way I wrote that up there. It's just a lot easier. Takes up a little more space, but the parentheses are so much easier. All right, times, what's next? I'm not even going to do the times because, you know, I'm just like that. I'm going to do the times. Or actually, first of all, I'm going to see if there's going to be a negative. Well, there's 1 negative, 2 negative, 3 negative. And because there's an odd number of negatives, the whole thing is going to be negative. So I'm going to put a negative there. And I'm going to cross out all these negatives. There we go. All right, back down here. We got, for our second one, we got the sine of the cosine of the tangent of the cosecant of the secant of cotangent of x. Bam. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put them around again. And I'm going to put a little multiplication symbol over here because I'm going to go all the way down here. And we're going to do this one because I don't have a lot of space. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start up here with secant squared of cosecant of secant of cotangent of x. That's the whole thing. So parentheses. Okay, that's not too bad, right? It starts to look a little nicer until you get to the next one. I think this one is the hardest to look at because it has multiple parts. Now we got cotangent of secant of cotangent of x, right? Times, what's our next one? Cosecant. And after this, I'm going to say the whole thing, and that's going to be super fun. Cosecant of secant of cotangent of x. Parentheses. Yep. And times our last set is over here. Tangent of cotangent of x. Oh, that looks kind of nice. Secant of cotangent of x. I did not solve this beforehand, so I'm just going. And then we're left with a nice cosecant squared x. So, if you ever wanted to know what the derivative of the sine of the cosine of the tangent of the cosecant of the secant of the cotangent of x, well, it's this. It is the negative cosine of tangent of cosecant of secant of cotangent of x times the sine of the cosine times the... We're going to do this again until I get it right. All right, I'm just kidding. It's only me this last one. Or I'll cut it out because that would be awful. The negative cosine of the tangent of the cosecant of the secant of the cotangent of x times the sine of the cosine of the tangent of the cosecant of the secant of the cotangent of x times the secant squared of the cosecant of the secant of the cotangent of x times the cotangent of the secant of the cotangent of x times the cosecant of the secant of the cotangent of x times the tangent of the cotangent of x times the secant of the cotangent of x times cosecant squared of x. So if you ever wanted to know, this is always on the table for a fun fact. Well, that was the end of this video. Thank you for watching. This was Deep Thoughts with Deegan.